Hello and welcome back. Wow, that was a great match of Magic. Watching that game 3 between Luis and Rich. Good stuff. And welcome to the booth, Tom Bartel. How you doing?
Thanks, good to be here. It's interesting to not be playing, just getting to watch tonight. But yeah, that was a crazy game three, kind of back and forth, and I think Luis misstepped a little bit and gave Rich a chance to steal it, but he couldn't quite come up with the additional workshop.
Yeah, no, there was that one turn window where second workshop would have enabled Trike, and Luis was down to 3. Luis, I think, saw that window and closed it, but there was definitely a window where Rich could have actually top decked his way out of that.
Yeah, definitely. I think fetching down to three was. I think Luis just forgot that Trek was a thing and left
Interesting.
himself open there for a turn. But a little crack in the armor. But no, he didn't have to pull it out. That was a crazy game because Rich's draw was so good. You think that the shop stacks always win those, but
Yeah.
Energy Flux is a heck of a magic card.
Yeah, Land Still is a significantly harder matchup for the Workshops deck than the Storm deck that Luis brought in the first match.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so what are you expecting here in match number 3? Is Rich going to go 3 shop stacks in a row? Is Luis going to go 0 shop stacks? Like, what happens now?
No. So I know what Luis is playing, so I don't want to spoil it yet.
Oh, all
But
right.
so I
I
will
do not.
opine on him. But Rich understands game theory, and it's just like for matches 4 and 5, it's so bad to only have one option that even if he thinks, and clearly from the decks he's been playing, he thinks aggro shops is the best deck by a lot. And by his record against very hateful anti-shop decks, as he keeps crushing all of them,
Yeah.
maybe he's right. I don't know. But even thinking that, like, why pigeonhole yourself and put just a bullseye for matches 4 and 5? You want a little bit of bob and weave. So I can't imagine he brings shops a third time.
Yeah,
My guess,
I'm with you. It seems
yeah,
like almost suicidal to have your opponent know exactly. I mean, not that his shop stacks are identical, but even if all 3 of his strategies are fundamentally workshop strategies, that would give Luis too much of an edge when he's choosing decks for match 4 and match 5. So,
yeah, even those two were both variants in aggro shops. There wasn't even control shops and aggro shops. So I think
fair.
maybe he brings control shops, but I guess something dredge, oath, different angle here.
All right, and I've got to guess Luis is on the shops list. It's funny, the fact that you know what it is makes me think it might be the one that Sperling played in the Power 9 challenge over the weekend. Yeah, that looked like a good version of that. Matt Sperling did make top 4 of the Power 9. I made top 4 of the Power 9. Neither one of us made the finals, though.
And
Shops.
Matt and I were both knocked out by the same guy playing aggro shops when we were both playing anti-aggro shops.
Fair enough. Did I hear that the players are ready, or are we still setting up? All right, our players are ready. Let's get down to match number 3. Hello and welcome. It is match 3 in this best 3 out of 5 set. We get to see the third and final deck that each competitor has brought to the table. Luis does have one shops deck in his trio. Rich Shea has a mentor deck as his third deck. None of the odd oath, which is a little bit surprising to me. He's had a lot of success with that in various Magic Online tournaments for the last month or 2.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I don't think Oath is particularly good against Luis's balance of decks, and it gives you kind of. Oath is such a polarized deck that I'd be very afraid. It's like a very rock paper scissors, and you're throwing a heavy one directional in this matches 4 and 5. So I think I like a deck like the one he's playing here, Mentor, where it's like even if say you go A and Luis goes B, you still maybe 35-40%. Where I think that the Oath decks can be 20% to win some of these matchups.
Interesting. This looks like it's a 4-color mentor deck then. I mean, I'm assuming from the word mentor that there's white mana in the deck, and we can see green and red and blue in his hand. So,
Yeah,
gambling with his mana base, which could hurt him against shops. We'll see.
Especially against shops. I would not want to be in a 4-color world here against shops. Luis will probably name Black Lotus. Here's my guess.
Dak Faden.
That makes sense. I like naming that in the dark.
Okay, main deck Ancient Grudge for Rich. That explains the green splash.
Yep. And
Yeah, I did play Mentor in the Power 9 challenge over the weekend, and I feel like if you're a red version of Mentor, you can bring a lot of artifact hate to the table. I didn't have a green splash, so I didn't have Ancient Grudge, but I can see where that could actually serve Rich well.
Definitely. I think it certainly is a game 1 card. To be able, even against other fair decks, taking out their Moxen and their Soul Rings is certainly something reasonable. It's a pretty good downside to the card. Obviously, the upside in this matchup is huge.
Scalding Tarn can go get him his green mana if that's how he wants to play this.
So I guess he's just going to play Jace here.
Yeah, I mean, he gets to play Jace or Sylvan, but not both.
Well, he fetched. He time walked, right? Of course.
Yeah, he time walked.
So my phone started ringing. I got distracted.
Oh, interesting. He's going to repeal the Soul Ring.
Ooh, a misstep on the way back down. I like that.
Huh. Yeah, he did draw a Mental Misstep, and that is a card which is pretty dead in this matchup. Most Shops decks will have exactly one target, and that's it. It's the Soul Ring. So Rich actually gets some nice value out of that, and he also saw that Luis did not lead on a Workshop, right? He's got to put Luis on Workshop just from the Revoker, I would think.
I like that play. I wonder if Luis had something else to do with his mana, if he would have avoided Soul Ring, because that repeal play kind of advertises it to me. So I'm a little surprised. I guess he had no other real option here, though. He wants to develop his mana. He wants to play Lodestone Golem next turn.
Yeah.
Ooh, great draw from Rich there, too. Rich has basically drawn perfect.
Hey, look, Rich has also been playing super well. This is not just a matter of Rich Shea drawing the right cards off the top of his deck. That repeal misstep line was really smart.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, yeah. If you know, I mean.
Yeah, those are some good cards. I'm not saying Rich isn't drawing well. I'm just saying that's not all he's doing. He deserves a seat here.
Yeah, I do think that repeal line backfires pretty badly if Luis just has like a sphere in his hand or has really anything else to do with his mana. Also, we can't know for sure what line Luis would have taken if he had the option to do something else. But
all right, Rich, 1,000,000 cards ahead, which has to make this Force of Will tempting, even though you're holding Ancient Grudge. Also, Golem's just so good. Being able to spend 0 mana to deal with it, and then untap with Sylvan, Jace, Ancestral, seems pretty nice. Luis wastes the Volcanic, not the Tropical.
that makes sense. I mean, he's probably thinking cards like Ancient Grudge, cards like Dak Faden.
Yeah.
Wants to make sure he doesn't get blown up by those.
Rich.
Another Red Source and a Seeker of the Way. I like that guy, actually.
Mox Ruby's the card off the edge of the screen. Yeah, Seeker's pretty nice with Sylvan in particular, right? I mean, that life gain, when you can translate 4 life into a card, it's even more relevant. Rich is down to 9 here. Yeah, he lost. So he did find a new Volcanic, and he found the Ruby. So Ancient
No white
Grudge
mana, though.
No white mana, right? Yeah, we said with that fetch land, he went and got the Tropical Island, not the Tundra.
Yeah, he's going to need to, and given his life total here, I wonder if he can afford to just play this. He probably can still just play this Jace. Yeah, the Jace is so good here, he has to probably play it.
Not the Ancient Grudge? I mean, he can Ancient Grudge and flash it back.
Sure, but again, like, he has the Force Will back up here. He actually could just hard cast his Probe for blue and see what's up over there and get a sense. Although I guess he just draws into the white creature that he doesn't want. That's what's on top. So actually, I like just playing the Jason passing and saving the Probe to pitch to his Force of Will.
Right.
Yeah,
Probe looks like a Force of Will card to me here. I want to cast the Gush, especially there might be another Wasteland coming. He can't have a lot of green mana in his deck. He can't have a lot of red mana left after getting 1 Volk wasted. Sphere is the draw for Luis.
And so Luis will actually get to...
He's got 6 total, so he can go Golem followed by Sphere, but it doesn't work the other way around.
Right. And I don't think he probably wants to waste here. I think that's actually better than Sphering to try to take out colors. Oh, okay. He goes the other direction.
I like the Sphere.
Yeah, I guess if his concern here is that Rich has access to so many cards.
And Rich is
he
at
wants
6.
to tax multiple things.
Like, slow him down. All right, there's the Seeker we knew about. He's gonna see what, 1 fresh card off the Sylvan? It's still not a white source.
So he can flip Jace, play second Jace, Ancestral and that, or I guess he can't. Ancestral and Chump. Wait, why is he keeping this second Gush? That seems odd to me. I guess he's just going to block and flip Jace if he attacks with the Workshop here is his line. Or can also, yeah. Huh. Okay, so he'll just block and flip, and then he'll have the flashback on Grudge if he wants it
Yep.
onto the factory.
He's going to go ahead and gush while he's at it. Oh, he's going to flip Jace here. He can flashback to kill the Revoker or the factory, I guess.
I guess also just plus it on the Revoker. Yeah, this line makes a lot more sense. Yeah, Rich looks way, way ahead this game, obviously.
I mean, he's ahead a million cards, but he's down to 6 life. There's 2 strip mine effects in Luis's hand. I do not feel like Rich has this lined up. Okay, he went down and flashed back the Ancestral. So Rich is all about card advantage this game. He did find Polluted Delta. He will be able to get white mana next turn. He's got Black Lotus for white mana this turn.
I think he might get white mana, just play both the Seeker and the Jace here, and then he can just, yeah, I like this line. I'm not sure I would have pulled the trigger in that spot on the
Jace down,
I would have been inclined to tick up there, but this worked out, and Luis Strong, unfortunately, another land for him. He really needed a spell here.
Sure. Wow. Luis just scoops him up.
Yeah, I mean, he's so
like
far behind.
Just too far behind. He was quite far behind. That's certainly true. So many cards. Richey was able to stitch together just the colored mana when he needed it. He did have the flashback on the Ancient Grudge, too. Ready. Now, how do you think sideboarding affects this? It should be good for Rich.
Yeah, generally it has to be, especially when they can bring in so many like grudges. He's up to 3, looks like 3 grudges and some steel sabotages. He also has, is that 1 or is it 3 Dak Fadens? Looks like 1 Dak Faden.
I think it's
I think it's an Ojutai.
interesting.
He's bringing like some Supreme Verdicts. Oh, he didn't bring in Supreme Verdicts. Okay. It makes sense. He probably puts Luis on a more controlling version of the deck, which has been kind of his bet. We've seen him play both Uba stacks and then a variation of Uba stacks without the masks, the Uba masks in the deck. So probably puts him on one of those versions of the deck.
Luis on the play. Luis with a turn 1 Thorn. Got the nice coercive portal in Luis's hand. That's tech we haven't seen a ton of.
Yeah,
basically just says draw a card every turn.
Right, 4 mana for a Personal Howling Mine.
Still a thing Shops is totally willing to do. Rich is thinking about this Thorn, so he's representing a Force of Will that he does not in fact have. Luis has Crucible, but nothing to go with it. He can't actually cast his Coercive Portal for 4 mana either.
Yeah, I mean, I still think
he needs a land to really turn his hand on.
And if he doesn't draw it here, I mean, he has the Revoker for whatever Rich does. I mean, I think it's fine here. The chat's pretty surprised. I am as well by the Mindbreak Trap still in Rich's in his deck. It's pretty rare for the Shops deck to have enough mana and cards in hand to play 3 cards in 1 turn. So it seems to me that's just like a 4 mana counterspell, and I would rather have, I imagine like Supreme Verdict has to be better than that, even if you don't know for sure that Luis is playing a lot of creatures. So I'm surprised to see the Mindbreak Trap still in the list.
I think it's sometimes good on the first turn, but you're right. It's a little sketchy in this matchup. I mean, this is obviously not the matchup you put it in your deck for.
Right. Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at which marginal card do you have in your library. They both pitched to Force of Wills. They're both blue.
Yeah. Step number 1 for marginal cards: make sure it's blue.
Yeah. So people in chat are asking, isn't Bottled Cloister better than Coercive Portal? I would definitely say no. There are far fewer duress effects in Vintage, certainly in this matchup, than there are shatters. And if they shatter your Bottled Cloister on their turn, your hand's exiled forever. So you really don't want to risk that happening. So I think Coercive Portal is a much better card here than the Cloister.
So you played this list in the Power 9 as well?
I did not. No, I played maybe 8, 9, or 9, 10 cards off. I played something very similar. I played in VSL. My only losses were to aggro shops. Just cannot beat that deck.
Yeah, it's funny. I played 4 shops decks in the Swiss, beat 3 of them, but all 4 made the top 8 anyway. And the one that beat me ended up winning it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought my matchup felt great, but it just high variance. Like both decks kind of play the same cards. I think aggro shops lists have a lot of kind of bad cards in them. Certainly more so than the control shops lists. But if you just draw them at an island you're on the play, you just win. It doesn't really matter what the cards in your library are.
Wow, that Wasteland is a spectacular draw for Luis.
Yeah, and he certainly would have rather drawn, a Tomb or another Workshop. But yeah,
sure, he's got Crucible in his hand. Like, sure. Not only does it tap for mana, but he has a Crucible.
Right, but I think it's to play Portal right here and draw 2 cards a turn. He's going to find one. I mean, he has probably 6 Wasteland effects, so he's going to find one. Maybe he would rather play Revoker anyway. Yeah, this is probably...
Yeah, he revokes the Pearl, and Rich does not have any more mana.
Yeah, and here comes the Portal.
Can't waste the basic island. Rich is very lucky he drew his basic island, or he would just be completely out of this game.
I mean, Rich would have probably mulliganed his hand if he had he maybe should have mulliganed his hand anyway. His hand does not do anything, and against shops lists, you figure they're going to put a tax effect so quickly that this hand may have been too... It also was functionally a mulligan with that Mindbreak Trap, actually. So I think, this probably should not have been a keep from Rich, now that I'm looking at his opener.
Well, I mean, I think if he thought the Mindbreak Trap was a mulligan, he wouldn't have it in his deck.
Well, I think, again, he thinks that he doesn't have anything better, right?
All right. Sure looks like we're going to get a Game 3. It is going to be a Game 3 with Rich on the play. Play draws is worth talking about, by the way. These guys, every one of these matches... And the first match, the higher seed gets to choose play draw. But then after that, whoever loses the previous match gets the choice. So Luis got to choose play. Or sorry, Rich lost match 2. Rich got to choose play. Next match, if Rich loses again, he gets to choose play. But yeah, that was something that we did randomly in previous VSL seasons. But we decided to clean it up so that if you lose a match, you get to be at first. And if you're the higher seed, you get to choose match 1.
And showing up all the boxes.
I mean, does Black Lotus do enough here? It doesn't feel like it does enough.
Mm-mm.
Not even close, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just +2 mana. He's taking 12 here, going to 4. So even if you can grudge, flashback, grudge, you can't take out the Wormcoil Engine that way.
This looks like we're on to Game 3.
Let's see. So he'll have 7 mana. So 3 for this Mentor. He has to make some tokens. He might not be dead here. It's awkward he doesn't have red or green. Oh, weird. So he played Lotus first. I would
he has to, right? Aren't 2 of his... Oh, he could play Mentor for 3...
Oh, you're right, because 2 of his boxes are shut off. Yeah,
okay. 2 of his boxes are shut off, so he wouldn't have been able to play the Black Lotus if he played the Mentor first.
Okay, then he is, I think, pretty dead. He's already played a land, too, so we can't even, replay a land here.
Right.
Can he survive a turn here by he gets to grudge one of the Revokers? Oh, no, he's mana short even for that. Yeah, so he has to hit a non-existent 0 mana magic card here, I think. That pays for itself somehow.
Yeah, Thorn of Amethyst doing some work.
Yeah, Thorn was fantastic this game. Which is funny, I usually I don't love Thorn against Mentor lists. I mean, it's certainly still fine, but I don't prioritize it, but it was absolutely fantastic this game. It is so much better on the play, though. When you can shut off their ability to play turn 1, you can stall their Moxen on turn 1 and make them pay for them. It's pretty unfair. We're probably going to see Ghost Quarter hit the... I guess there's no real reason. If Luis wants to find out his basics. Oh, he needs the mana to activate both his... Okay, never mind. I'm just saying nonsense now. So yeah, go into Game 3 here.
Factories get fired up into the red zone. Luis is just like, can you survive this? I don't think you can survive this. And no, Ricochet cannot actually survive the Alpha Strike. On to Game 3.
Looks like Rich has one Supreme Verdict in.
customizing his deck. I don't know if this is now that he knows the matchup, but the Crucibles just went out. Do you think that's a play draw difference, or he's just gradually learning more about Rich's deck?
Probably a little bit of both. I mean, play draw is a big factor here in cards like in some matchups, cards like Chalice and Trinisphere. In this matchup, you're going to want those either way. I wish I could see what he was like debating bringing in, because he certainly needs to make room. Actually, he has all the worm coils in. So he's brought in, is that a duplicant? I like that card quite a bit in this matchup.
Sure. All right. Rich Shea will be on the play. One of these guys will move a match away from the semifinals. The other one is going to have their back against the wall.
Rich's hand looks pretty nice.
Winning here looks huge. Great.
Oh yeah, Luis's hand is also fantastic.
They both have a Black Lotus, so fireworks should ensue.
I know, Black Lotus is a great Magic card, even in shops.
Here, I know what. Rich doesn't have any permission though. Like, doesn't Luis win this exchange of fireworks? I mean, Rich gets to play a Sylvan and get his Moxes down, but then he's just cantripping and hoping, whereas Luis is going to deliver a couple of haymakers. I mean, Thorn, Golem, and Metamorph are all great.
He's going to have 6 mana unturned one, so he can play Lodestone into Thorn, right? If he draws another Mox, I think he can just double Lodestone, which is pretty absurd.
Rich leads with the Sylvan. I presume he's going to put his Lotus on the table, since it might cost more later. I don't know that he's going to crack it. You just hold on to it, right? Yeah, it's not worth cracking for just a preordain.
I think I would have preordained there.
You would crack Lotus for preordain.
I would just cast preordain and see what you hit, right? Because if you hit, maybe not. I feel like this is, I guess.
I would have played it Rich's way. All right, Luis goes with the Ancient Tomb first. Not the Academy. Leads Thorn.
Yep. Stopping Force of Will.
Yeah, that stops Force of Will.
What force of is Lotus?
Lodestone Golem's still a creature. So Lodestone still only costs 4 even after he leads with the Thorn. It's a great turn for Luis. Can Rich answer it?
Well, Mentor is the card he wanted.
Wow. How far can Rich get?
Rich can go, I believe Rich can play Mentor, Mox, repeal Mox. If he wants to, repealing his own Mox and getting 3 tokens, which is pretty absurd here. Yeah, he can. Or he might be. Yeah, he can do that. He can play Mox, repeal Mox, play Mox if he wants to. Alternatively, he could just play preordain. Oh no, sorry. He's gonna be 1 mana short from the line I suggested, so he'll just play preordain here.
Interesting. He wants to leave up the ability to gush it or repeal at instant speed, so that he can pump those up. Basically, he wants to threaten to block Lodestone. Luis is going to make more Lodestones.
This will force Rich's hand.
Does it? I mean, kinda.
He's gonna if he wanted to. Oh, he still has 2 mana. Sorry, he couldn't. He can't gush now, right? So if he wanted to gush, he would have had to. So now Luis knows he can't play anything instant speed. So he can actually attack with his first Lodestone Golem, and only thing Rich can do is double block, which is, of course, Luis is happy when he has 3 Lodestone Golems. Wow. Luis's draw here is absurd.
I'm a little bit surprised that Rich didn't fire off one of his instants.
I think he had to play something.
I mean, he could have repealed paid 2 mana to repeal his own Mox, generating.
Oh no, sorry. There was a Lodestone and a.
It's +2.
Yeah,
Thorn plus Lodestone means he couldn't do anything anyway.
Yeah, obviously. So sorry, Rich, for doubting you. I was wrong the whole time.
He could have gushed, but
then he's
got all his lands in his hand.
Yeah, there's no way he's ever winning that game. I mean, there's no way he's winning the game the way it's played out. But I mean, Luis's draw here is unbeatable.
God, this Shops deck is just absurd.
It's funny too. This is what Rich tried to do to Luis last match with this triple Lodestone draw, except Luis had Energy Flux and Wasteland to get it off the board. And here you can see why cards like Ancient Grudge are so much worse in this matchup.
Crazy. And Rich found, I mean, Monastery Mentor was about the best thing Rich could have found when he took his first look at the Sylvan last turn. Like, you have to, if you can go wide with a bunch of monks, you can win a fight, but the Lodestone got their 5-3. You have to also be able to trigger prowess on the other guy's turn to block effectively. Rich just couldn't do all that through a Thorn and a Lodestone.
Yeah, definitely be going here. I mean, every one of Rich's 1-mana spells, I guess he can probe, pay 4 mana to cast the probe. 4 mana and 2 life.
Jeez.
This is just outrageous.
Yeah, he thought things were bad last turn when everything was +2. Well, every non-creature was +2 anyway.
Rich paid life. Okay. He's going to pay 3 mana to gush. Oh, man, this is something.
Doesn't Gush cost 4?
Sorry, pay 4.
3 mana to probe.
Yeah, same thing as probe. Yeah, same thing as probe. 4 mana to gush. And then replay a land. So it's kind of like 3. Yeah, this one is very over.
Yeah, the battle between the cantrips and the Lodestone Golem goes to the Lodestone Golems. I thought Mentor might have been enough there, but no, it just too much taxing on all those cantrips.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the Thorn, I think it would have been fine. A Thorn and the third Golem. But when I was doing the math and thought he could play his 1-mana spell, I thought he might have a chance to pull out of this and be able to erase the 2 Lodestone ones. But, oh, hey, look.
That redundant Trinisphere. Everything is already...
really can't play any spells this game. Yeah. All right, well...
Luis Scott Vargas takes the 2-1 lead. Now, it's best 3 out of 5. We've now seen all the decks for all the players. We're going to take a real quick break just to take stock, get these guys set up for the 4th match. But when we come back, let the speculation begin. Which deck is each player going to want to bring to the 4th match?